There are people you can love gently, loudly, patiently, beautifully, and still feel like you are knocking on a door that never opens. They read your message and wait 3 hours to answer. They smile at you like you are special, then disappear into silence. They act calm, distracted, busy, impossible to reach, as if your heart is just one more notification they can ignore. And the strangest part is this: sometimes they are not playing with you. Sometimes they are terrified because they feel too much. In astrology, certain zodiac signs have a complicated relationship with love. They do not always run toward the person who touches their soul. Some of them run away, some test, some observe, some pretend they are not moved at all, while privately replaying one sentence you said for weeks. They can ignore the person who would have loved them best because real love makes them feel exposed, dependent, vulnerable, almost powerless. And for these signs, losing control can feel more frightening than losing love. But here's the cosmic twist. The moment you stop chasing them, something changes. When your energy pulls back, when your world no longer revolves around their silence, when you stop asking, explaining, waiting, and proving your worth, they finally hear the echo of your absence. They begin to notice the empty space where your warmth used to be. They realize that what they mistook for pressure was actually devotion. What they called too much was loyalty. What they pushed away was the one soul that did not want to use them, fix them, impress them, or leave them. These 6 zodiac signs often understand love late, not because they are heartless, but because their hearts are guarded like locked rooms. They may need distance to recognize value. They may need silence to understand who truly mattered. They may need to watch you walk away before they realize you were not chasing them, you were choosing them. So do not beg them to see your worth. Do not shrink yourself to fit into their uncertainty. Do not chase someone who only feels your magic when you are gone. Because with these signs, the deepest realization often comes after the goodbye. And when it does, they may look back with a feeling that is almost unbearable. That was the one, and I let them go. Aquarius, January 20, February 18th. Aquarius is one of the most mysterious signs to love because they can make you feel chosen and forgotten in the same week. One day they are sending you strange little thoughts at midnight, telling you about their dreams, their theories, their childhood memories, their favorite song from 10 years ago. The next day they become unreachable, cool, distant, almost glass-like, as if the emotional bridge between you suddenly vanished. But Aquarius does not usually ignore people in a simple or cruel way. Their distance often comes from fear of emotional capture. They love freedom so much that even affection can feel like a cage if it arrives too intensely. When someone begins to matter, Aquarius may instinctively step back to ask themselves, am I still myself, or am I becoming attached? They need air. They need mental space. They need to feel that love is not a trap. The tragedy is that while they are analyzing their feelings, the other person is often suffering. You may wonder, did I imagine the connection? Did I say something wrong? Why were they so warm and then so cold? Aquarius can leave someone emotionally confused because their heart moves in flashes, not in traditional romantic rhythms. They may not chase, confess, or reassure in the way others expect. They might care deeply but show it through strange loyalty, sudden help, intellectual intimacy, or quiet observation from a distance. The real secret of Aquarius is this: they often realize someone was rare only after that person stops being available. When you stop sending long messages, stop asking why they disappeared, stop waiting for them to return to the conversation, Aquarius feels the shift. At first they may pretend not to notice. Then they begin checking your page, remembering your laugh, rereading old messages, wondering why your absence feels heavier than they expected. If you chase Aquarius, they may keep floating away, but if you return to yourself, they may finally understand that your love was not pressure, it was a safe place they were too afraid to enter. Virgo, August 23, September 22nd. Virgo does not always look like someone who ignores love. They can be polite, attentive, helpful, even sweet. But emotionally, Virgo may build a wall so quietly that you do not notice it until you are standing outside in the cold. They answer carefully. They avoid messy conversations. They act practical when the moment calls for tenderness. And when feelings become too complicated, they may retreat into work, routine, criticism, silence, or the famous Virgo sentence, I'm just busy. But with Virgo, busy can mean many things. It can mean, I am overwhelmed by how much I feel. It can mean, I am afraid I will disappoint you. It can mean, I see every flaw in myself and I cannot understand why you would choose me. Virgo is ruled by a deep inner standard. They are not casual about love when it becomes real. They begin measuring everything: timing, compatibility, responsibilities, risks, mistakes, future problems that have not even happened yet. This is why chasing Virgo rarely works. The more you push for emotional certainty, the more Virgo may panic internally. They may start looking for reasons to step back, not because you are wrong for them, but because perfectionism makes them afraid of choosing wrong. They can overthink a blessing until it starts looking like a threat. They can love someone and still act as if love is a problem to solve. In real life, Virgo is the person who remembers your favorite coffee order but struggles to say, "I miss you." They notice when your mood changes, but they may not know how to comfort you without sounding too practical. They may criticize the person they adore because vulnerability feels too naked, and advice feels safer than confession. Yet when you stop chasing Virgo, their emotional system begins to calm down. Your absence gives them room to feel without defending themselves. Suddenly they remember your patience, your kindness, the way you believed in them when they were hard on themselves. And then regret can hit Virgo with brutal clarity. Because Virgo does not forget details. They remember the exact moment they became cold, the exact message they left unanswered, the exact look in your eyes when you started giving up. Virgo may realize too late that you were not demanding perfection. You were only asking to be met halfway. Scorpio, October 23, November 21. Scorpio is the sign that can ignore you with their body while obsessing over you with their soul. They may act unmoved, silent, unavailable, even icy. But inside, they are rarely neutral. Scorpio does not experience real attraction lightly. When someone touches their hidden emotional world, it can feel dangerous, addictive, almost fated. And because Scorpio understands the power of attachment, they may resist it with everything they have. To love Scorpio is to feel intensity beneath the surface. Even when they say little, you feel something burning behind their eyes. They may watch you carefully, test your reactions, disappear to see whether you will follow, or act indifferent to protect themselves from the humiliation of needing someone. Scorpio fears betrayal more than almost any sign. So before they fully open, they may unconsciously put you through emotional weather: silence, suspicion, distance, hot and cold energy. But the mistake many people make with Scorpio is chasing them too hard. When you chase Scorpio, they may begin to wonder if they have power over you. And once Scorpio senses emotional imbalance, they can become even more guarded. They need to respect your strength. They need to feel that your love is deep, but not desperate, loyal, but not self-abandoning. The real secret of Scorpio is that they often test the person they secretly hope will stay. They want proof, but their tests can become painful. They may ignore you to see if your feelings survive the silence. They may pull away to see if you panic. They may act cold because admitting tenderness feels like handing someone a knife and pointing to the softest place in their chest. But when you stop chasing Scorpio, everything becomes serious. Your silence does not feel ordinary to them. It feels like a door closing. Scorpio begins to sense that they may have pushed too far, waited too long, hidden too well. And unlike signs that move on quickly, Scorpio can become haunted by the one who walked away with dignity. They may not confess immediately. Pride may hold them back. Fear may hold them back. But they will remember. They will replay. They will feel your absence like a secret wound. And one day, perhaps when no one is watching, Scorpio may finally admit the truth they tried to bury. You are not just another attraction. You are the person who saw their darkness and still offered them love. Capricorn, December 20 to January 19. Capricorn rarely chases love in an obvious way. In fact, Capricorn is one of the signs most likely to make you feel as if romance is somewhere far below the list of their priorities. Work comes first. Goals come first. Stability comes first. Dignity comes first. And if they are not careful, the person who truly loves them comes last, not because Capricorn does not care, but because they are often convinced that love must wait until life is finally under control. This sign has a very private heart. Capricorn may like you deeply and still behave as if nothing special is happening. They may keep conversations practical, emotions measured, and their face calm, even when you are slowly becoming important to them. They do not like exposing feelings before they are sure of them. They do not want to promise what they cannot sustain. They do not want to look foolish. And more than that, they do not want anyone to see how desperately they long to be loved without losing respect. That is why chasing Capricorn so often fails. The more emotional urgency they feel from another person, the more they retreat into self-control. They may start responding less, choosing logic over intimacy, acting mature when what they are really doing is hiding. Capricorn is one of the signs that can convince themselves they are being responsible, when in truth they are postponing happiness. They tell themselves, not now, later, when things calm down, when I know more, when I'm ready. But love does not always wait politely by the door. In real life, Capricorn is the person who shows love through reliability before words. They may help you with your problems, remember your deadlines, support your ambitions, and silently admire your strength. But if they are afraid, they can also become emotionally unavailable, giving you just enough to keep hope alive and not enough to feel secure. They may assume you understand what they feel, when in fact you are starving for a simple confession. And then one day you stop chasing. You stop trying to decode their mixed signals. You stop admiring them from a distance. You stop offering emotional warmth to someone who keeps standing in winter. That is when Capricorn feels the full weight of what they failed to honor. Suddenly, the silence they once maintained so confidently becomes unbearable. They realize that not everyone who loves deeply will wait forever. And that can break something inside them, because Capricorn does not easily forgive themselves for missing real value. When Capricorn finally understands that you are the one, regret comes, not like a storm, but like cold iron, heavy, quiet, and impossible to ignore. Gemini, May 21, June 20th. Gemini can be enchanting, magnetic, funny, curious, and emotionally slippery all at once. Loving a Gemini often feels like trying to hold sunlight in your hands. They can make you feel thrillingly seen, then suddenly become distracted, inconsistent, or emotionally evasive. Not because they are always insincere, but because Gemini is a sign of movement. Their mind is always racing ahead, turning, questioning, exploring. The moment feelings get too serious, they may try to lighten the mood, change the subject, disappear into busyness, or pretend things are less deep than they really are. This is one of the signs most likely to ignore what they feel until life teaches them that some connections do not return. Gemini often believes there will always be another conversation, another chance, another way back in. They trust possibility so much that they sometimes take emotional constancy for granted. If they sense that someone is always available, always understanding, always ready to listen, they may drift instead of choosing. They do not always realize that indecision can wound just as deeply as rejection. Chasing Gemini only makes this pattern worse. If you become too focused on getting clarity from them, they may start to feel trapped by expectations. Then the playful side of Gemini becomes defensive. They may joke instead of confessing. They may flirt instead of committing. They may vanish for a while and return with charm, as if warmth alone can erase confusion. Gemini does not always mean to be cruel, but they can leave broken hearts behind simply because they did not understand the seriousness of what was in front of them. Yet Gemini is not shallow when they truly love. In fact, when they meet someone who reaches both their mind and heart, they can become deeply attached. They remember conversations word for word. They keep emotional souvenirs in strange places: an old note, a screenshot, a song, a phrase you once said casually that changed them more than you knew. But it often takes loss for Gemini to recognize the difference between passing chemistry and soul-level connection. Pisces, February 19, March 20th. Pisces is soft-hearted, romantic, intuitive, and far more elusive than people expect. Many assume Pisces would never ignore real love because they feel so much, dream so much, and long so deeply for emotional union. But Pisces can be one of the most confusing signs of all, precisely because their heart is so sensitive. When feelings become overwhelming, they do not always move closer. Sometimes they escape. They disappear into fantasy, nostalgia, uncertainty, or emotional fog. They may love you and still avoid defining what is happening. Pisces often wants a love story so beautiful that reality itself can feel disappointing. They may keep waiting for the perfect emotional moment, the perfect sign, the perfect certainty. And while they are drifting through feelings, the person in front of them is left wondering where they stand. Pisces may act affectionate one day, withdrawn the next, deeply intimate in private, and strangely unreachable afterward. They are not always rejecting you. Sometimes they are drowning in feelings they do not know how to organize. This is why chasing Pisces can become heartbreaking. The more you try to force clarity, the more Pisces may retreat into vagueness. They do not respond well to hard emotional pressure. If they feel guilt, confusion, or fear of hurting you, they may avoid the conversation completely. Pisces can disappear not because they feel nothing, but because they feel too much and do not trust themselves to handle it cleanly. But here is the hidden truth of Pisces. They never forget the people who loved them gently. Never. Especially the ones who saw their contradictions and still offered patience. Pisces may move on outwardly, may smile, may seem fine, may even start new chapters, but deep down they carry emotional ghosts. And when the right person stops chasing, stops reaching, stops trying to rescue the connection alone, Pisces feels the loss in a profound and almost spiritual way. They begin to understand that you are not asking them for perfection. You are asking them to be real. You are not chasing to control them. You are trying to love them before life taught you not to waste your heart where it is not being held with care. And for Pisces, that realization can come with tears, longing, and a painful awareness that they let something sacred slip through their fingers. Because Pisces may dream of love endlessly, but once in a while, a real soul appears. And when they fail to hold on to that soul, no fantasy can replace it.